What is up, YouTube? Kyron back up in here with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how to style Air Force Ones. And I know what you're thinking, Kyron, why am I sitting here watching this video on how to style Air Force Ones? It is the most basic shoe of the century. Why would I even know how to style such a basic ass shoe? And I'd say you're right. I'd say you're probably 100% correct. But I'm going to be talking about how to style Air Force Ones because I was sitting back and realizing how versatile of a sneaker it actually is and how many different ways you could style it, and preferably my way of styling it and how I've just been treating the shoe, because sitting back this whole summer, it has been my fallback shoe as to like a shoe I could rely on, just use it in multiple different outfits. And yes, it doesn't really stay into one culture like it did way back, like when I first fell into the Air Force One, which was like Harlem, Brooklyn, all that. Everyone had Air Force Ones. Now it's kind of like I'm in Canada and you could see a hood ass guy wearing Air Force Ones. You could see like a skater kid wearing Air Force Ones. You could see a guy like me wearing Air Force Ones. It's literally any type of guy could be wearing this type of shoe. So I'm going to be getting into how I style this type of shoe. And then also I'm going to be getting into a new pickup of special Air Force Ones that I got recently, and just how in general I treat the silhouette, because I feel like it is the classic silhouette for any type of sneaker. So let's get into it. The first one I'm going to be talking about is obviously the classic Air Force One. All white, white on white, the low. I don't really mess with the mids, I don't really mess with the highs. The low white Air Force One is what the ones you guys come to know and love. You guys know it's kind of getting blasted out by white, like my ring light. You guys know the drill. It's an all white sneaker though, so nothing too much to see here. But how I treat these is I tried to make it as anti-basic as possible. Like, of course it is a plain shoe and you kind of have to treat it as such, but you have to like dress this up, because if you treat it like it is, you will probably get lost in the sauce with the other people that are wearing this shoe. And you don't really want to be, I know some people don't really want to be associated with this shoe because some people are like, oh, it's like too plain, too basic. But I feel like this is just a gem. You have to treat it as such. So if you treat it like it is and dress it around the shoe instead of falling into like the protocol of the shoe, you should be good. So for me, with the white Air Force One, I normally just kind of pair it with standout pieces or like pieces that I just love to wear on a daily basis. So example being these Berlin sweatpants. I always wear my Air Force Ones with these. Sorry, like I'm wearing socks and shit, but these pants are like just my favorite. I always wear them all the time, and I pair it with the Air Force Ones like on a daily. This is like just a basic ass outfit for me, wearing Utopia shirt, Rick Owens sweats, fitted hat, and Air Force Ones, and like that's like a classic outfit for me. If you go back like last year, wearing pretty much the same thing, just swapped it out with Geo baskets, but like you could catch me in the street wearing this at all times. So that would probably be my first outfit for just a white pair of Air Force Ones. But you don't really have to keep it only to that. Earlier on in the summer, my boy Jer sent me these Air Forces because he wasn't wearing them anymore. I'm not too big into like variants of the Air Forces, but this summer I was starting to like unlock my taste for them a little bit more, just because I wasn't like too keen on them. I just wanted to give them a shot, and he had these and he gave them to me, so I gave them a shot, and they're pretty cool. They're kind of just like a towel type of material on the swoosh, and it's double layered. This is something I wouldn't normally go out of my way and buy, but the fact alone that he just like gave them to me and I was able to just like test them out styling wise, they are pretty cool. Like a little splash of color on the swoosh is something not to be like scared of at all. So if you guys go into like Foot Locker or anything like that, 120 bucks, and you could get like a variant color of Air Force if you're like tired of the white on whites and you just see a whole bunch of people wearing them and you're kind of bored of that. I would definitely try to get something similar to this, because with these I kind of pair it and like use one of the pop colors, not to be too matchy, but like you could use one of the accent colors to kind of like keep it consistent with the rest of the outfit. So like something like this I have on my Instagram, I'll pop it on the side of the screen right here. I just like use like the pop of red and like kind of tie it in with like a hat or something like that. So this is definitely something pretty interesting that you could utilize in an outfit. You can even DIY this. You could just like have a normal Air Force and just like paint it yourself. And I will get into more customization of the Air Force later on in this video, obviously. Definitely pop of color is something to look into if you're kind of bored of like the normal style silhouette of Air Force One. Well, not silhouette, but normal take on the Air Force One. My personal favorite of like the more recent variations of the low top Air Force One is the yellow one. There's also like a forest green version too. They have like a whole pack that they dropped, and I'm pretty sure they're like in stores everywhere. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave them in the description below too. So if you want to check that out, go check it out. Okay, now into like the final, well actually one more thing. I used to be down with like beating the hell out of Air Force Ones, and then I started seeing like the typical like basic girl trendy like IMG wearing, or like Brandy Melville wearing, like type of girl wearing basic beat up Air Force Ones, and I didn't really want to feel classified into that category. And the people that I was hanging around kind of like instilled into my brain that like having Air Force Ones, fresh ones at least, is like something that you should probably take pride in. And normally I didn't really care beating up my Air Force Ones because like it's like whatever, like I got a first pair and then I started beating them up. Now I'm trying to keep fresher pairs. I get rid of all my dirty pairs whenever they get too banged up. And my mentality is, if you have a variation of Air Force One, beat it up. Once it gets to too far of a place, let it go, it's fine. Where I stand with it is I rather get like a white Babesta. That's kind of been one of my dreams of a shoe to beat up, because I don't mind that getting beat up. I find it looks better with age actually, like an all white Babesta rather than an Air Force One, because like at least with that you can have a beat up ass Babesta, but it's still gonna be different from that person's like basic ass Air Force One. Jeez, that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. That's like my next go-to in this silhouette, so hopefully I can find that, either the Ronnie Fag ones or just the original white Babesta. But it's been hard to find it in my size, and I don't know if the Babestas fit exactly how the Air Force Ones do. So if you guys do know that, let me know in the comments below. I've never owned a pair. We're going to get into custom Air Force Ones, going off of the variations of what I've been talking about. Just having little differences that separate you from the crowd is what I'm going to be getting into right now. And we're also going to be getting into a little portion of this video that is by Dutty Dario. So I'm going to be rolling that footage right now. It's just some insight into the custom work that Dario does. He has done some previous work for me with the number 9 Mickey Mouse Air Forces. These got banged up, and the O's. I'll link that video. It'll be a card on the screen and also in the description below if you guys are interested to see that. But I'll be rolling that footage right now. Just me asking some questions from him, little details of him painting this shoe, B-roll, etc. So I'm going to be getting into that right now, and then we'll talk more about these shoes after that.
My name is Dario Panese, better known as Dutty Dario, and I'm a sneaker artist from Montreal. Where it all started, I started doing customs in CJET. Started with a friend of mine. He sent me a design on Twitter that he liked, that he wanted to have done on a pair of wraps that he had. Shout out David. He knew that I was interested in painting, that I was able to draw as well, so he asked me if I'd be able to do it for him. So I kind of just did it as a favor and just to help him out. And a lot of people liked the work that I did for him, and so kind of everything kind of stemmed from there, from that one pair. The more he'd wear them, the more people would ask him where he got them. So kind of word of mouth started to spread off that first pair, and I never really looked back since. Just been taking orders ever since and kind of expanding on that first pair. That's a good question. I've always liked inspiration from like guys like Pharrell Williams, like Nigo. Those guys are always like active on their page and kind of look at what they're doing. I've always liked their unique style and the ideas that they generate for their own work. In terms of like custom work, I think Slumpy Kev is pretty really good at what he does. Again, like an OG in this type of game. So I looked at his page at the beginning when I was trying to generate ideas of what's popular and what's in and what people like to get done on shoes. But for now, it's a lot of Nigo, a lot of Pharrell, a lot of those original older designs, and a lot of the inspiration, honestly, for the pieces that I do just come from the things that I was interested in growing up or still am interested in. So sometimes I'll just kind of look back at the shows that I grew up with and what I was interested back then, and kind of just draw inspiration from that. Things that I liked growing up that are still relevant today, I'll try to find a way to incorporate in my work, whether that's on a pair or on a hat or on anything that I can paint. So a lot of inspiration sometimes comes from social media, outdoor, outside influences, or things that I thought were cool back then or still think are cool now. I just think it's not necessarily say it's an easier thing to paint, but it's just I think in terms of beginning in this as a sneaker artist or beginning to do this type of work, I think shoes are always a good canvas to kind of begin with and kind of test with. You know, I do have interest in other mediums and other pieces, and actively working on dress shirts and other pieces as well. But for now, just getting used to the canvases and getting used to painting, you know, characters and anime, I think shoes are the way to go. But eventually I'll be venturing into other things, maybe more canvas pieces, maybe some more clothing pieces, maybe some screen printing once the demand gets there. But yeah, for now I just think Air Force Ones are kind of the typical way to go and kind of still in style and still popular with customs. So even shoes in general, I don't only paint Air Force Ones, but I think it's just a good way to begin and eventually I'll go from there. I think the Roy Woods pair, the Goku pair, that was the first like real anime pair that I actually kind of took my time with and implemented a background and really did a full piece for. He was my biggest client at the time, and I think pretty much still is, so I really wanted to do something special for him. He mentioned to me that he was a huge Dragon Ball fan, so I really wanted that piece to kind of stand out versus all the other ones that I did. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite pairs. The Killy pair, the Ryu pair, the Death Note. A lot of people really like that shoe. Again, Killy's always very active in terms of what he posts and his love for anime, so I really want to do something special for him as well. Killy, that was a nice one. Goku one. There's a lot of pairs, man. I got a pair coming out soon, though. Dragon Ball Z pair. That's coming out pretty soon. That's a crazy pair as well. So you can find me on Instagram at Dario, on Twitter as well at Dario. I got a Facebook page coming up soon for my work, but mainly on Instagram. I'm taking commissions currently, so if you want a pair, hit me on Instagram, DM me what you want, and I'll try to hook it up for you.
All right, so jumping back into it, thank you, Dario, so much for taking the time out to like just talk to me, show me a bit of your process in painting these. That was just like a little glimpse as to how much work and dedication is put into hand painting these shoes. He's like a master at his craft, so make sure you go follow him. I'm gonna have all his information in the description below. But let's get into these gems. The inspiration I had for these, if you guys don't know this show, is the Boondocks. I guess it could be considered like an anime series, but it's not really anime. In a sense, it's not on the air anymore. I believe there's like 4 seasons, so if you guys want to check it out, the Boondocks on some type of pirating site. I'm not condoning illegal activity, but there's no other way to watch it right now because it's not on Netflix anymore and all that. So anyway, but yeah, the Boondocks, Riley, Huey. There's this scene that they're like fighting in a house. I forget what the context is of that. I have to rewatch the episode, but like I think Huey, which is this guy, is watching over Riley and he doesn't want him to leave. So they have like this big ass BB gun fight in the whole house, and the house gets like destroyed, but it's like super intense and it's like hilarious. But definitely I recommend you guys checking out the show. If you guys aren't into like, I guess just like humor that of the urban genre, then don't watch this, because like they dropped the N-bomb a whole bunch of times, so like I don't want to like get demonetized and shit, but like whatever. If you guys are into that, definitely go check it out. I really appreciate the Boondocks, like fully. It's one of my childhood memories, and just like I love the Boondocks. So thank you, Dario, for being able to put that onto a shoe for me. He just did a blacked out swoosh, so this goes back into what I was talking about, but just having like a contrast swoosh on the sneaker and just having like some type of variance, because like I know when I walk in the street I'm not going to see anyone with this, and Dario isn't going to commission another guy to do the exact same shoe as me, I hope. Fingers crossed. But yeah. Coffee sip. Speaking of Dario's commissions, if you guys are interested in commissioning a pair of Air Force Ones or any other shoe that you want to customize, I believe you could send it to him, and then he paints it, then he'll send it back to you. I don't know exactly how it works. If you guys are interested in that, definitely just DM him. He'll give you all the information of how you could acquire something of the likes of this, but with your own interests and inspiration and all that. So doesn't have to be exactly this, but it could be anything that you're inspired by. Thank you guys for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate it. Sorry if it was like kind of like a weird style of video. I know it's kind of different from what I normally do. I haven't done like a how to style video in a very long time. But when it comes to just summing everything up, when it comes to the Air Force One, I generally prefer to have a wider silhouette on the bottom of my trouser, just so that I can like kind of puddle over the shoe. That's just something that I appreciate a little bit more, rather than having like a tighter fitted pant, because that was like something that I did in the past. Don't really appreciate that too much now, but you could, that doesn't mean that you can't do it. I know a lot of my friends that wear tighter silhouettes in their bottoms, but it looks just as nice for the Air Force Ones. So it really is up to you. As far as I go when it comes to styling them, I use flared pants, which could be something of the likes, I'll just keep the Air Force Ones on my lap for now. Something of the likes of these pants that I have as like my alternative to the Balenciaga pants. I did like a video a couple years ago, or like a year and a half ago, with these. So like they kind of flare out on the bottom, so these like puddle over the shoe perfectly. This is a good example of that. Another like flare example could be the Stadt-Ballet sweatpants. So like really just super wide, baggy, and they kind of flare. Also, you kind of see the curvature of it. So I prefer flared pants in general for my Air Force Ones, or just like baggy and like my real tree tongue twister, my real tree camo pants. Yeah, so anything baggy, anything flowy, rather than sitting inside of the shoe, is more my style, more my take on it. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this video and stopping by the channel once again. My name is Kyron. Make sure to go follow me on my Instagram, GOTSWEIGE on Instagram, if you guys want to stay more up to date with me on a frequent basis. So yeah, you can check me out on there. More videos to come as always. Gonna have like a back to school type of pickups video, if I get this one out at a time or after that. So it'll be out eventually. Thank you guys once again. Peace, take care.